She was crying beside a blood-splattered truck in a storm, barefoot, broken, and hunted. Owen Byers, a dying mafia boss with a failing heart, should have driven past. Instead, he stopped. And when she whispered the name of the organization that killed his brother, he realized saving her might be the last thing he ever did. The rain came down like nails on West Division Street. Owen Byers pressed his hand against the grimy brick wall outside Barker's Underground, the illegal fight club where he'd just collected $30,000 in debts. The kind of money that came with broken bones and promises made at knife point. But right now, he couldn't give a damn about the cash stuffed in his jacket. His chest was on fire. As we continue, click subscribe, like this video, and tell me in the comment where you are watching from. Your support helps us bring more thrilling stories, and trust me, you won't want to miss them. Now let's continue in the story. The pain started as a warning buzz during the final fight, a familiar electrical skip behind his ribs. Now it felt like his pacemaker was short-circuiting, sending jolts through scar tissue that used to be a functioning heart. Owen's vision swam. The neon signs across the alley, a pawn shop, a liquor store, a massage parlor, bled into streaks of red and blue through the rain. Not here. Not tonight. He was 43 years old and dying. Had been for 3 years. Some genetic heart condition the doctors said was like a ticking time bomb wrapped in scar tissue. They'd given him 2 years, maybe 3, if he took it easy. That was 36 months ago. Taking it easy apparently wasn't in his skill set. Owen pushed himself off the wall and stumbled toward his SUV, a black Chevy Tahoe parked in the alley where he'd left it, rain hammering its roof like bullets. His fingers fumbled for the keys. They felt thick, useless, like someone else's hands. Then he saw her. A woman collapsed against a white delivery truck, the kind that said fresh produce on the side, except now it said something else entirely. Blood, smeared across the driver's door in streaks that the rain couldn't quite wash away. She sat with her back against the rear tire, bare feet stretched out on the wet asphalt, bleeding from cuts he could see even from 20 feet away. But it wasn't the blood that stopped him. It was the way she was crying, head tilted back against the truck, rain washing over her face, shoulders shaking with sobs that had no sound. She wore a yellow sundress, completely soaked through, torn at one shoulder, weighing to her like a second skin. Her hands lay palm up in her lap, stained red up to her wrists. Owen stopped breathing. Every instinct he'd honed over 20 years in Chicago's underworld screamed at him to get in the SUV and drive away. This was the South Side at 2 in the morning. People collapsed next to blood-splattered trucks all the time. Victims, witnesses, perpetrators, none of his business. He had his own problems. He was dying a little more every day. But something about the way she cried reminded him of Danny. The thought came unbidden, unwanted. His younger brother, tied to a chair in a warehouse 5 years ago, crying silently, while 3 men in expensive suits decided whether he lived or died. Owen had seen the video 100 times. The way Danny's shoulders shook, the way he didn't make a sound, like making noise would make it real. Another jolt from his pacemaker, sharper this time. Owen gasped, grabbed the SUV's door handle for support. His vision tunneled, gray creeping in from the edges. He looked at the woman again through the rain. She wasn't breathing right. Her chest rose and fell too fast, too shallow. Hyperventilating. Shock. Leave her, call 911, drive away. Instead, Owen let go of the door handle and walked toward her. His legs felt like lead, his heart hammering against the failing machinery in his chest. Rain soaked through his leather jacket, plastered his hair to his skull. He stopped a few feet away. Up close, she was young, mid-20s maybe. Black woman, beautiful even through the terror and tears. Her hands trembled in her lap. Blood mixing with rainwater, creating pink rivers that ran between her fingers. "Miss," he said, his voice rougher than he intended. "You hurt?" She looked up, her eyes tucked onto his, brown, deep, seeing right through him in a way that made him freeze. For one strange moment, Owen felt like she knew him. Actually knew him, not his reputation or his name, but the broken parts he kept hidden. "They took everything," she whispered. Her voice was raw, barely audible over the rain. "My brother, they took my brother." Owen noticed the blood wasn't hers, no visible wounds except the cuts on her feet. Relief and dread hit simultaneously. She wasn't dying, but someone else might be. Sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. He should walk away. Questions meant police. Police meant exposure. He hadn't survived this long by playing hero to crying women in alleys. But then his pacemaker sent another warning jolt, painful enough to make him stagger. He grabbed the truck for support, pressing his free hand against his chest, where the device sat beneath skin and scar tissue. The woman's eyes sharpened, focusing despite her tears. "Your heart," she said, not a question, a diagnosis. "Something's wrong with your heart." Owen stared at her. "What?" She moved before he could react, bare feet on wet asphalt, hands reaching for him. Her fingers found his wrist, cold and blood-stained but precise. She held it there, counting silently, her eyes unfocused, like she was calculating something complex. "Irregular," she whispered. "Dangerously irregular. You need to breathe. 4 counts in, hold for 4. 6 counts out." Her clinical precision cut through his confusion like a scalpel. Owen tried to pull his arm back. "Listen, I don't do it." Her voice carried an edge of command that bypassed his instincts. "Before your pacemaker fails completely, and you die in this alley." Something about her certainty, the way she said pacemaker like she could see through his chest, made him obey. Owen breathed in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Held it. Released slowly. The woman counted aloud, her bloody fingers still pressed against his wrist, monitoring his pulse. After a minute, the crushing pain began to ease. After 2, the electrical storm in his chest calmed to a manageable rhythm. She released his wrist and slumped back against the truck, her temporary surge of purpose apparently exhausted. "Better?" she asked, breathless. "Yeah." Owen studied her carefully. She looked worse than before, face pale, lips slightly blue from cold, but her eyes were sharp. Aware. "How did you know to do that? How did you know about the pacemaker?" She opened her mouth. I closed it. A crease formed between her eyebrows. I don't know." "What do you mean you don't know?" "I mean, I don't know." Her voice rose, panic threading through. "I don't know how I knew. I don't know why I'm here." She looked down at herself, the torn yellow dress, the blood on her hands, the bleeding feet. "I don't even know whose blood this is." Owen had spent 20 years reading people, spotting liars, calling bluffs, knowing when someone was running a con. This woman wasn't lying. The confusion in her eyes was real. The terror was real. "What's your name?" he asked quietly. "Jewel." She said it like she was testing the word. "Jewel Moore. At least, I think that's my name." "Where do you live?" I don't know. What's the last thing you remember? She pressed her palms against her temples, fingers leaving red smears in her hair. A warehouse, men in suits. Someone is screaming, then running, just running through the rain. Her breath hitched. They took my brother. They took Isaiah. I have to find him. I have to. Another sob cut her off. She covered her face with her bloody hands. Owen stood in the rain, his failing heart steadying, watching this woman fall apart beside a blood-smeared truck. He should leave, should get in his SUV and drive away from whatever nightmare she was running from. But when she looked up at him again, tears mixing with rain, terror mixing with desperate hope, he did something he hadn't done in 5 years. He reached out and wiped her tears away with his thumb. "Who's hunting you?" he asked. Her face went white. She whispered a name that stopped his heart more effectively than any electrical failure. The Kingsmen. Owen's world tilted. The Kingsmen. The shadow organization that had executed Danny 5 years ago when Owen refused to launder their weapons money through his trucking company. The same group that sent him the video, his brother tied to a chair, 3 suited men, a single professional shot that ended everything. Owen had gone to war after that, but they'd vanished like smoke. He'd let his empire crumble, retreated into survival mode, let the broken pieces of himself scatter. He thought they'd forgotten about him, moved on to bigger targets. Sirens were getting closer. Owen made a decision. "Get up," he said, extending his hand. "We need to move. Now." Jewel stared at his scarred, tattooed hand. "Why would you help me? You don't even know me." Owen pulled her to her feet, steadied her when she swayed. He stripped off his leather jacket and draped it over her shoulders, then guided her toward his SUV. "The Kingsmen took someone from me, too," he said, opening the passenger door. "My brother, 5 years ago." He helped her into the seat, her bloody feet leaving prints on his floor mat. She was shaking violently, shock and cold taking over. "I was their forensic accountant," she said as he climbed into the driver's seat. "I found the real books. Billions in illegal arms deals, political assassinations, human trafficking routes across 12 countries. I copied everything to a hard drive and went to the FBI." Owen started the engine, pulled out of the alley as police lights painted the street behind them. "They took Isaiah 3 days ago," Jewel continued, her voice breaking. "My FBI handler Marcus was supposed to meet me tonight with new safehouse coordinates. When I got there," she closed her eyes, 3 men in suits. They executed him. 2 shots, made me watch. Then they told me I have 48 hours to surrender the drive or my brother dies." Owen's hands tightened on the steering wheel. The woman who could destroy the Kingsmen was sitting in his car, covered in a dead FBI agent's blood. "Whose blood is that?" he asked, though he already knew. "Marcus's. Agent Marcus Webb. He had a wife, 2 kids. Tears ran down her face. "They killed him because of me." Owen drove through rain-soaked streets, his mind already cataloging options, strategies, weapons stashed in safe houses across the city. His pacemaker sent a mild warning, stress levels elevated. But for the first time in 5 years, Owen ignored it. "I know somewhere safe," he said. "Somewhere they won't find you." "Why?" Jewel turned to look at him, those brown eyes seeing straight through his lies and his scars. "Why would you risk your life for a stranger?" Owen met her gaze in the rearview mirror. "Because I've been waiting 5 years for a chance to make them pay, and you just gave me one." He accelerated into the night. "Plus, you saved my life back there. Figure I owe you." His failing heart beat steadier than it had in months, not because the pacemaker was working better, but because, for the first time since Danny died, Owen Byers had something beyond survival. He had purpose, and a woman who needed saving from the same monsters who'd destroyed his world. The rain hammered the windshield as Chicago's lights blurred past. Behind them, sirens. Ahead, a war neither of them was ready for, but both had been preparing for in different ways. Owen just hoped his heart held out long enough to finish it. Owen's safe house was a converted warehouse in the industrial district. The kind of place people disappeared to when they wanted to stop existing. Concrete walls, no windows, 3 exits. He'd built it after his brother died. A tomb for the man he used to be. Now, he was bringing life into it. Strange how salvation sometimes looks like kidnapping. 3 a.m. Owen led Jewel through the steel door into a space that looked like a soldier's barracks, crossed with an armory. Military cot against one wall. Medical supplies on metal shelving. Weapons visible in locked cases. Everything functional. Nothing comfortable. She was still shaking, shock and hypothermia taking hold. Owen started a fire in an industrial barrel, pulled dry clothes from a footlocker. Here, change behind that. He gestured to a canvas curtain rigged in the corner. While she changed, Owen checked his pacemaker readings on the medical monitor he kept charged. The screen glowed red. Arrhythmia episode. Seek immediate care. He'd been ignoring that warning for 3 years. What was one more night? You're dying. Owen turned. Jewel stood wrapped in his oversized shirt and sweatpants, drowning in fabric, but steadier now. Her eyes fixed on the medical readout. We're all dying, Owen said. I'm just on a tighter schedule. He gestured for her to sit on the cot, filling a basin with warm water. As he cleaned the blood from her hands, gentle despite his scarred knuckles, she started crying again. Quieter this time, exhausted. Owen did something he hadn't done in years. He wiped her tears with his thumb. Tell me everything. From the beginning. Jewel's story came in fragments. Top of her class, forensic accounting degree, recruited by a prestigious firm whose biggest client was Kingsman International Holdings. Hired to clean up discrepancies, she'd instead found an empire of horror. $3 billion in illegal arms sales, assassination contracts, human trafficking across 12 countries, money laundered through 47 shell corporations. I copied everything to an encrypted drive, went to the FBI. Her voice broke. Agent Marcus Webb promised witness protection. Tonight was supposed to be our final meeting. New safe house, new identity. When I arrived at the warehouse, 3 men in suits were waiting. They executed Marcus, made me watch. Isaiah, her 19-year-old brother, had been grabbed from his college dorm 3 days ago. The Kingsman sent video. Isaiah beaten, begging her to comply. 48 hours to surrender the drive, or he dies. The drive is my only leverage, she whispered. Owen listened, then spoke. 5 years ago, the Kingsman wanted my trucking company to move weapons. I refused. He stared at the fire. 2 weeks later, they grabbed Danny. Send me videos. Demanded I reconsider. I still said no. Thought I could protect him through sheer stubbornness. His voice went flat. The final video came 48 hours later. 1 bullet. Professional. Cold. The war that followed destroyed Owen's empire and triggered the genetic time bomb in his chest. Extreme stress, the doctors said, turned his heart to scar tissue. I've spent 5 years too broken to fight back, Owen said. But you just handed me a loaded gun. You can't fight them, Jewel protested. "They own everyone. Police, politicians, judges." Owen opened a weapons locker. "I don't play by the system's rules anymore." Inside, enough firepower to start a small war. "Give me the drive. I'll burn their operation down. We'll get Isaiah back." "Why risk your life for me?" Owen's scarred hands cupped her face, wiping away the last tears. "When I saw you crying in that rain, I remembered what it felt like to lose someone I couldn't save. I won't let that happen again." Jewel pulled out her phone, showed him video of Isaiah. Owen's blood froze. "I recognize that location. Industrial Shipyard, South Side." His jaw clenched. "Same place they killed Danny." Understanding passed between them. This wasn't just about silencing a witness. "They know you have me," Jewel whispered. "Good." Owen's smile was dangerous. "Let them come. I've got 5 years of revenge and nothing left to lose." His pacemaker beeped another warning. He shut it off. Dawn broke gray and cold over the warehouse. Jewel woke to find Owen already awake, staring at a wall covered in photographs. Faces, locations, names connected by red string like a conspiracy theorist's nightmare. But this wasn't paranoia. This was 5 years of hunting ghosts. And now, finally, the ghosts had names. She approached the wall. Marcus Webb's face stared back, marked deceased with yesterday's date. Senator Richard Calhoun, Viktor Sokolov, arms dealer, her own face from surveillance footage. Danny Byers' memorial photo at the center, everything radiating outward from his death. 5 years tracking smoke, Owen said without turning. They're like mercury. Grab them, and they slip through your fingers. Jewel studied the financial documents pinned between photos. You missed something. She pointed to transaction patterns. See the timing? Every third Thursday. Major fund transfers. That's not random. It's their operational cycle. Owen's eyes sharpened. Today's Tuesday, which means tomorrow they're moving billions. If we intercept with the evidence on my drive, we'd need the drive. Jewel hesitated. It's my only insurance for Isaiah. Or it's our only weapon. Within the hour, Dante Marconi arrived. Expensive suit, street-smart eyes, Owen's last loyal soldier. He assessed Jewel with professional suspicion. Boss, who's this? Someone who can finally give us the Kingsmen. Something flickered in Dante's expression. Jewel caught it. Owen didn't. They drove toward the storage facility, Dante following in his own car for backup. Halfway there, Owen's pacemaker sent violent jolts through his chest. His vision blurred. Jewel noticed immediately. Pull over. I'm fine. You're dying. Let me check the pacemaker. At a stoplight, her fingers found the device through his shirt, made adjustments with medical precision she couldn't explain. Owen stared at her. How do you know? I don't know. I just do. The storage unit was a tomb of secrets. Inside Unit 247, encrypted hard drive, passport, cash, gun, but also medical textbooks, nursing certifications, ID badge reading, Chicago Memorial Hospital, cardiac unit. Jewel stared at her own photo on credentials she didn't remember earning. I worked cardiac care for 3 years. Company! Dante's voice crackled over radio. 3 SUVs incoming fast. Owen grabbed the drive. Move! Gunfire erupted. Kingsman operatives swarmed the facility with suppressed weapons. Dante provided covering fire while Owen returned shots. A bullet shredded their front tire. Jewel hot-wired a nearby motorcycle, hands moving with trained efficiency. "Get on!" They escaped through Chicago streets, rain starting again. Dante covering their retreat. Owen's pacemaker screamed warnings. His heart rhythm collapsed into chaos. At an abandoned church, safe house number 2, Owen's heart stopped completely. Jewel caught him, started CPR with perfect medical precision. 30 compressions, 2 breaths, check response. Her body knew exactly what to do, even as her mind screamed confusion. Owen gasped back to life. "You saved my life," he whispered. "I don't understand. My hands just knew." Owen sat up slowly, studying her. "The Kingsmen don't just launder money. What if one of their operations was you? What if you weren't just their accountant? What if they trained you, made you something they can't afford to lose?" Jewel's face went white. The medical knowledge, the gaps in memory, the way they hunted her so desperately. Dante burst through the church doors. "Boss, problem. The Kingsmen released a video." Isaiah filled the screen, beaten worse, holding today's newspaper. Voiceover cold and professional. "Ms. Moore has 24 hours to return our property. The location will be sent. Come alone, or the boy dies screaming." The video was cut to black. Owen's pacemaker beeped steadily, Jewel's adjustments holding. But time was running out for Isaiah, and maybe for all of them. Jewel Moore stared at the medical textbooks like they belonged to a stranger. Maybe they did. Maybe she was the stranger, a woman wearing someone else's memories, someone else's skills. The Kingsmen hadn't just stolen her brother. They'd stolen her past. And Owen Byers, the broken mafia boss who wiped her tears in the rain, was the only person who seemed willing to help her find it. For hours they analyzed the hard drive in the church's basement. Dante worked at a laptop while Owen and Jewel combed through files. Then Owen found it. Operation Nightingale. "Recruitment and Training Program for Medical Professionals," Owen read aloud. "Agent Moore, Jewel. Specialty, cardiac care and forensic accounting. Status, inactive. Notes. Subject developed emotional liability. Unsuitable for wet work." Jewel's hands shook. "I was an agent. I worked for them." The files painted a nightmare. 8 years of providing medical support for assassination teams, keeping targets alive during interrogation, treating wounded operatives. One report made her stomach turn. Agent Moore refused to participate in enhanced interrogation of target's family member, minor, age 12. Formally reprimanded. Fragments crystallized. A child crying. Her refusal, being pulled from field operations and buried in accounting where she couldn't cause problems. "Until you found evidence that could destroy them," Owen said quietly. Dante's voice cut through the silence. "Boss, there's another file. Operation Crossfire." Owen's face went stone. Target, Danny Byers. Medical support, Agent Moore, Jewel. "You were there," Owen said, "when they killed Danny." Jewel's fragmentary memories sharpened. Warehouse, young man tied to chair, her desperate attempts to treat his wounds, begging them to let him go. They'd ordered her to leave before the execution. She'd filed a formal protest. "I tried to save him, Owen. I swear I tried." Owen's rage could have burned the church down, but when he looked at Jewel's tear-streaked face, he saw another prisoner. Another person trapped by the Kingsmen's machinery. "You were trapped," he said finally. "You couldn't have stopped them. They had 20 hours until the deadline. Owen's plan: create a forged drive, trade it for Isaiah, send the real evidence to every news outlet and federal agency with a dead man's switch. They'll kill Isaiah the moment they have it, Jewel protested. Then we don't give them time. While Dante worked on the forgery, Owen taught Jewel to shoot in the church basement. Her hands knew the weapon, muscle memory from training she couldn't remember. Owen guided her stance, his scarred hands on her shoulders. "Why are you really doing this?" Jewel asked. "When I wiped your tears that night, something in me remembered what it was like to care." Upstairs, Dante made a phone call in whispered Italian. "It's Marconi. I have them both. No, Byers doesn't know. But you promised. Owen lives through this." He ended the call, guilt carved into his face. The Kingsman had offered a deal. Deliver Jewel and the drive. Owen gets to live, gets medical treatment, disappears safely. Dante believed he was saving his oldest friend. He didn't realize the Kingsman never honored deals. At 2 a.m. the message arrived. Southside Industrial Shipyard, Warehouse 7. Owen stared at the address. Same place they killed Danny. They're bringing it full circle. Jewel loaded her weapon. Then we send a message back. Owen's pacemaker screamed another warning. Jewel saw it. This fight could kill you. Some things are worth dying for. Dante watched them prepare for war, knowing he'd already betrayed them both. In 12 hours, everything would end at the shipyard. One way or another. 6 hours until the exchange. Owen sat in the church pew watching sunrise bleed through stained glass, painting Jewel's sleeping form in crimson and gold. She'd finally collapsed from exhaustion, her hand still gripping the gun. A broken mafia boss and a former agent who saved lives for people who dealt death. Strange how the damned find each other in the dark. Dante's encrypted phone shattered the silence at 6 a.m. Not a private message, a news alert. Every Chicago station broadcasts the same video. Isaiah filled the screen, beaten worse than before, holding a sign. Jewel Moore, your brother dies if you don't comply. The news anchor's voice. FBI sources confirm the hostage is Isaiah Moore, brother of former federal informant Jewel Moore, who disappeared after her handler was murdered 3 days ago. Jewel woke to see her face plastered across every channel. They've made me public. Every cop, every bounty hunter. Look at his hands, Owen interrupted, studying Isaiah's subtle finger movements. Jewel's eyes widened. Sign language. We learned it as kids. She decoded the gestures. TRAP, MULTIPLE, TEAMS. He's warning us, Owen said. It's an ambush. Dante stood abruptly. Boss, I need to tell you something. The confession poured out, how the Kingsman had contacted him 2 days ago, offered to let Owen live if Dante delivered Jewel and the drive. Medical treatment. A way out. You're dying, Dante said, voice breaking. I couldn't watch you throw your life away. Owen's fury was ice. So you sold us out. I sold her out to save you. After Danny, you're all I have left? Jewel's hand moved to her weapon. Owen's pacemaker raced, pain spiking through his chest. They sent me my brother's execution video, Owen said quietly. You think they honor deals with witnesses? Dante's face crumbled. What have I done? How long until they arrive? 2 hours. They're staging at the shipyard, sending a team here first. Then we move now. Owen turned to Jewel. Different location, different plan. Dante stepped forward. Let me help. Please. Let me fix this. Owen studied his oldest friend. You know Detective Martinez? Owes me a favor. Give her everything on the drive. We flood the zone. Feds, media, cops create chaos while we extract Isaiah through the confusion. It was desperate, likely suicidal, but their only shot. 1 hour before departure, Jewel found Owen alone, staring at Danny's photo. I should have protected him, Owen whispered. You can't save everyone. I can save you. And Isaiah. Jewel took his scarred hand. When this is over, if we survive, what happens to us? I don't think about after anymore. Maybe it's time to start. Owen cupped her face, wiped away a tear. I wiped your tears in the rain. I'll wipe them in the sunshine too, if we live to see it. They kissed, desperate, gentle, two broken people finding something worth living for. Within 30 minutes, Chicago erupted. Federal raids on Kingsmen properties. Arrest warrants. News broadcasts exposing Senator Calhoun. But at the shipyard, tactical teams waited. Isaiah tied to the same chair where Danny died. Voice over radio. Target en route. The woman comes back alive. The man is expendable. Owen, Jewel, and Dante drove toward the shipyard. Owen's pacemaker screamed warnings. He shut it off. Whatever happens, promise me you'll get Isaiah out. We get him out together, Jewel said, or we don't get out at all. Rain started falling. Owen smiled grimly. Just like the night we met. Except this time, we fight back. The shipyard looked like a graveyard of steel and rust, cranes reaching toward storm clouds like skeletal fingers. Rain hammered the corrugated metal warehouses, drowning out footsteps, muffling gunfire. Owen Byers had walked into hell before. But this time, he was walking in with something to lose, and that made him more dangerous than he'd ever been. 3 p.m. They infiltrated through underground tunnels Owen had used for smuggling years ago. Emerging inside Warehouse 5, federal raids created perfect chaos. Kingsmen scrambling, sirens wailing, gunfire echoing. Dante split off to create a diversion. Owen and Jewel moved toward Warehouse 7. Through his scope, Owen saw Isaiah zip-tied to a chair, beaten, barely conscious. Possible internal injuries, Jewel whispered, her medical training assessed from a distance. We need a hospital immediately. Owen's pacemaker sent warning jolts. He ignored them. Dante's explosion in 60 seconds. We breach during confusion. The fireball lit up Warehouse 6. Guards ran toward it. Owen and Jewel slipped through Warehouse 7's side entrance. Too easy. Lights flooded on. 20 Kingsmen operatives emerged from shadows, weapons trained. Victor Strand stepped forward. Expensive suit, silver hair. Predator's smile. Mr. Byers, so good of you to deliver Ms. Moore personally. Owen fired. His weapon clicked empty. Tampered ammunition. You didn't think we knew about every weapon in Dante's arsenal? Strand said. Jewel moved protectively in front of Isaiah. Let my brother go. We're taking you both. The boy's leverage worked so well once. Strand turned to Owen. You, however, are a liability. Owen's pacemaker screamed, emergency alert. His heart rhythm collapsed. Vision blurred. He dropped to his knees, gasping. Full cardiac arrest. Owen! Jewel broke from the guards, slid to his side. No pulse. Her training overrode everything. She ripped open his shirt, exposed the pacemaker, started compressions. Strand watched, amused. Touching, but futile. 30 compressions. 2 breaths. Nothing. Isaiah crying. Jewel, please. Owen's pacemaker wasn't delivering shocks. She needed to restart it manually. "Isaiah, that battery! Throw it to me!" Her brother tossed a car battery from the corner. Jewel stripped wires with her teeth, placed them on pacemaker leads. "You said I reminded you of something worth living for," she said to Owen's unconscious form. "Prove it. Come back." She touched wires together. Electric shock jolted his body. Once, nothing. Twice, nothing. Thunder crashed. Third time, Owen gasped, eyes flying open. Heart rhythm resumed, erratic but beating. "I've got you," Jewel whispered. Warehouse doors exploded inward. Dante with the Federal Tactical Team. Detective Martinez. "FBI, drop your weapons." Chaos erupted. Dante fought Owen and Jewel. "Boss, can you move?" Owen struggled up, supported by Jewel. They grabbed Isaiah, ran for exit. Strand pulled an incendiary grenade pin. "If I can't have the drive, no one can." Fire swallowed the warehouse. They ran through smoke and flames, emerging into rain-soaked chaos. FBI securing the perimeter. Kingsman surrendering. But Strand escaped. Detective Martinez approached. "We've got arrest warrants for 40 operatives, 3 senators." The ambulance arrived. Owen refused. "Not yet. Strand's getting away." "Owen, your heart can take one more fight." Dante handed him keys. "Go. I'll handle the feds." Isaiah loaded into the ambulance, safe but desperate. "Jewel, I'll be right behind you. Promise." Owen and Jewel drove into the night, chasing Strand's SUV. Rain poured. One last debt to collect. Strand's SUV cut through Chicago rain like a shark through bloody water. Owen drove with one hand on the wheel, the other pressed against his chest where his heart hammered against failing machinery. Jewel beside him, reloading their only weapon. They'd survived betrayal, a firefight, and Owen's death. But the night wasn't over, and Owen buyers had one last debt to collect. High-speed chase through the industrial district. Strand heading for a private airfield. Owen's pacemaker through constant warnings. "Your heart can't take much more." Jewel monitored his pulse while navigating. "Then it better hold until this is finished." They gained ground. Strand's SUV was damaged from the firefight. Jewel fired through the windshield, shredded his back tire. The SUV spun, crashed into an abandoned factory. Owen and Jewel approached on foot through rain and smoke. Strand emerged bloodied but armed, firing wildly. Inside the factory, catwalks, rusted machinery, shadows. Strand had high ground. Owen and Jewel split up. She flanked left. He took center. Owen's vision blurred. Heart rhythm chaos. "You should have stayed dead, buyers," Strand's voice echoed. "Like your pathetic brother. Danny was worth 10 of you. He cried before he died. Begged. Just like you will." Jewel circled behind. Strand heard her, spun, fired. She dove, returned fire. Owen used the distraction, charged despite his failing body, tackled Strand from the catwalk. 20-foot drop, brutal impact. Strand grabbed a metal pipe, swung at Owen's ribs. Owen went down, coughing blood. Pacemaker alarm screaming. "Your brother died on his knees. So will you." Strand raised the pipe for a killing blow. No. Jewel emerged from the shadows. 3 shots. Strand stumbled backward, dropped the pipe, fell. Jewel approached, gun steady. Strand gurgled, "You were supposed to be one of us." "I was never one of you. I was trapped by you. There's a difference." She looked at Owen. This is for Danny, for Isaiah, for everyone you destroyed. Final shot. Strand's body went still. She dropped the weapon, ran to Owen. Barely conscious, pacemaker flatlined. Stay with me, Owen, please. Thread-thin pulse. She started CPR again. Compressions, breaths, tears mixing with rain through the broken roof. I need you. Do you hear me? I need you to live. Owen's eyes fluttered open. Weak smile. Thought you said, together or not at all. Then live, damn you. Sirens approached. Hospital, 4 a.m. The surgeon emerged. He's stable. Miracle he made it. Heart took tremendous damage, but we've done what we can. 50-50 odds. Can I see him? 5 minutes. Jewel entered the recovery room. Owen unconscious, machines beeping steadily. She took his hand. You wiped my tears in the rain. Now it's my turn to be here while you heal. Owen's fingers squeezed weakly. His eyes opened barely. Did we win? We survived. That's enough. Not yet. He struggled to stay conscious. One more thing. Promise me. Anything. When I wake up, take me somewhere with no rain. Just sunshine. He faded back into unconsciousness. Jewel wiped tears. I promise. Outside, Detective Martinez delivered news. 47 Kingsman operatives arrested nationwide. Senator Calhoun indicted. The empire dismantled. Isaiah sat beside Jewel, healing. He really went to war for us. He went to war for peace, Jewel said. To end the ghosts. And maybe, just maybe, to start living again. Recovery is a strange kind of war. Quieter than bullets, but just as brutal. Owen Byers learned that in the hospital room where he spent 3 weeks relearning how to breathe without machines. But the hardest part wasn't the surgery or the pain. It was letting Jewel Moore see him weak, broken, human. And discovering she stayed anyway. 6 weeks after the shipyard, Owen was discharged with a new pacemaker and strict medical regimen. They lived in a witness protection safe house. Owen, Jewel, and Isaiah under temporary identities during trial preparation. Isaiah healed, returned to online classes. You gave me my sister back, he told Owen constantly. And my life. Just don't waste it, Owen replied, still adjusting to peace. Physical therapy, cooking meals together, movie nights, unexpected domesticity. But nightmares still came. One night, Owen woke up gasping from Danny's execution. Jewel was there immediately. Breathe with me. 4 counts. She'd become his anchor. Why did you stay? Owen finally asked. You and Isaiah are safe now. Because somewhere between the rain and the shipyard, you became my reason to stay. The trials came swiftly. Jewel's testimony convicted 38 Kingsman operatives. Senator Calhoun got 25 years. Viktor Sokolov, life. The empire dismantled. Media called her the woman who brought down an empire. She hated the attention. Just wanted peace. Owen attended the final day, charges cleared in exchange for cooperation. Watched Jewel give her victim impact statement. Years trapped, finally free. Detective Martinez offered permanent witness protection. New names, new city, clean slate. Jewel looked at Owen. What do you think? I think we've run enough. Time to choose where we stand. 2 weeks later, they said goodbye to Isaiah at the airport. California University. Computer science degree. A fresh start. Take care of her, Isaiah told Owen. Always. They drove east to a small coastal town in New England. rented a cottage overlooking the ocean. First night on the porch, watching sunset paint the sky gold and orange. "Is this what normal feels like?" Owen asked. "I don't know, but I like it." 3 months later, Jewel worked at the local hospital's cardiac unit. Owen ran a small boat charter business, legitimate, peaceful, healing slowly. A letter arrived from Naples, Italy. Inside, a photo of Owen on an Italian pier, healthy, walking with a cane but strong. "Dante took that while I was recovering," Owen explained. "I told him if I survived, I wanted to see where my grandfather was born, before the Mafia, before America, where my family was normal." Dante's note included family trees, village photos. "Your grandfather left Italy to build an empire. You left an empire to build a life. I think that makes you the wiser man. The family wants to meet you someday, when you're ready." "Do you want to go?" Jewel asked. Owen studied the photo, his face without ghosts. "Maybe. Someday. When we're ready to share our story." "What story would we tell?" He pulled her close. "That I was broken. That you were lost. That we found each other in the rain. And that sometimes the people who save you are the ones who need saving just as much." They walked to the ocean. Sunset. No more rain. No more blood. Just two survivors learning to live. "You once wiped my tears in a storm," Jewel said, "and you restarted my heart when it stopped." "Fair trade?" He kissed her forehead. "More than fair. It's everything." They stood at the water's edge, silhouetted against the setting sun, two broken pieces made whole. For the first time since Danny died, Owen wasn't haunted by the past. He was building a future. Where are you watching from? Drop your country or city in the comment below. If you love this story of survival, protection, and unexpected love, subscribe to our channel for more dark romance tales. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a new story. Your support helps us create more content like this. Thank you for being part of community.